people aren't perfect. We're not supposed to be perfect. No one's fucking perfect, right? So this idea that we have to strive to be this image that we see on the internet or something like that, like you're like, no, like even if there were people out there that were perfect, why would you want to be that person? Like the only thing the world doesn't have is you. Like we have everyone else. So the only thing that we need is you, and you're the only one that can give it to us. So celebrate that's wrong with you, because that's what makes you unique. You know, like those flaws, the things that people tell you are flaws, like no, that's the stuff that you should nurture and build from. Like that's what's unique to you. You're like, no one is fucked up the way that you're fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I try to celebrate, I think, in songs. And people are like, oh man, that's so depressing. It's like, no, like that's be courageous in showing what maybe isn't necessarily like, you know, like the feature that you would want to put forward. Like celebrate the stuff that scares the hell out of you, the stuff that you feel uncomfortable about, you know, the things that are uniquely you.
You say you can't imagine me doing too much wrong or what have you, but I had a like a 0 to, I don't know, 60, 0 to 50 anger sometimes when something wouldn't be right, with not just with him, but road rage and that kind of thing, which I had a challenge with years ago. And that reaction now has been something I've become aware of. And so you start with awareness that you're doing something, and then you go, okay, I'm doing it. I might not stop it every time, but I'm becoming more aware that I'm doing it.
You don't like this about yourself.
I don't like it. It doesn't serve any, understand where it's coming from, why I'm doing it. And you start to dissolve those things. And same thing with, there are a lot of frustration as a parent. Why doesn't the child sleep? Why doesn't he do this? Why, you know, it's a form, it's a very challenging, most challenging time in my life probably. And so you can look at those things that you're doing that are not ideal, and you can work to shift them, because I want the experience not only for him, but for me also, because I'm not setting myself up to have a good day if I'm frustrated, continually frustrated by a child being a child. That is an irrational attachment for me of a child to be perfect. And there's the whole perfectionism that was in that I had. Aspect of it.
Mentioned recently was that you gave up drinking about 1.5 years ago.
Yes.
And you said it was the hardest thing you ever did.
Yes.
And I wanted to know, what was so hard about it for you? Why was it so hard?
It's interesting. I didn't one day wake up and say, I'm giving up drinking. I just, like many Brits, had a very, very boozy December. Christmas time, I was on vacation, I was drinking a lot. And I've always been able to drink a lot. I think I get my genes from my mum's side in that thing. Like I can drink. And I decided to just give up for January. I just wanted to do dry January. And all I could think about was having a drink. It's all I could think about. I was waking up thinking about it. I was checking the clock. When's it 12? And it just really scared me. I just was like, wow, maybe I have a little bit of an alcohol thing. So I sort of decided to punish myself and say, I'll do February as well. I'll do 2 months off. If I can do 2 months off, then I can prove to myself that I don't have a problem. 2 months go by and I was still really struggling. I felt like I couldn't be social. I felt like I couldn't go to the pub and have a lime soda. I couldn't go out for dinner. I was really, really struggling. And I started to really worry that maybe I had an alcohol problem. So I decided that I would wait until my birthday, which is June 1st. I said to myself, if I can do 6 months without alcohol, then I can prove to myself that I don't have a problem. And by the time I had got to June 1st, I was the happiest I've ever been in my life. I could sleep better. I could handle problems better. Things that would go wrong on set that would normally set me off, I could take in my stride. I had such better mental clarity. I felt healthier. I felt fitter. And I just sort of said to myself, like, why am I enslaved to this drink? Why am I so obsessed by the idea of having this drink? And I would look back and recognize that I would go to events for work and be like, I can't enjoy myself until I've had a few beers. And I just felt so much pressure.